doesn't matter if you know the way you're funky about it. When it's all said and done, we're going to get funky like a monkey. Pay attention to the TrashTalkingRadio.com every Tuesday night. If you don't, this is Axe Demolition. We'll come to your house and kick your stinking door down.
Hey, this is the Queen of Extreme Francine, and when I'm lonely, I listen to Mike Trash from 7 to 10 p.m. on Trash Talking Radio.
The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
If you want to talk trash, like you said, it's called .com, the talktrash.com.
TrashTalkingRadio.com.
Okay, guys, hey.
Hey, this is Spike Dudley. I don't even know what my name is. This is Brother Run, or the guy that used to be Spike Dudley, that I don't know what my name is. You could call me Matt Hyphen. I don't know. This is Trash Talking Radio. Every Tuesday, TrashTalkingRadio.com. Get extreme.
It's Trash Talking Radio Tuesday night. It's the best night of the week. And for some reason, not getting the sound to the one station. That's weird. We usually get sound. I don't know why we're not getting sound this time. I can't figure this out. This is really weird. I can't figure out why we wouldn't be getting sound. Now I can't figure this out because we were getting sound before, and now we're not getting sound on our station. Now, that's really strange because the sound goes through the board and leaves the board and comes into this here power, goes into here. Now, let's see, we're tracing the weirdness that it could be. Okay, so it goes to here. So what would be the issue with that going to where it's supposed to go? That's an odd one. I can't figure it out. And I can't really have it go and not play music or sound or anything. So what is the issue with us outputting sound? That is odd. I can't understand it. It should be there. I might have to reboot that because I've not had that issue before. So, that's really strange. They're not getting any sound. Alright, so what I'll do is, how about if I reboot just that? Just reboot the oh wait, would that mess up my... Yeah, I think I could do that without messing up the stream. So, I'm going to reboot that because it's not getting any sound up there. And I'm going to continue the show as if it didn't do anything weird like this. But it's Tuesday night. It's supposed to act weird. So I see the sound is coming in here, and I'm assuming that we're getting sound on the air. So I don't know what's going on. Well, let's find out if we are getting sound on the show. And so I'll pull up the... Okay, here we go. I guess we need to have me, my egotistical person, needs to be showing up. Let's see. Alright, here I am. Okay, now, let's see if we have sound. Okay. Can I, it looks like I'm having sound. Okay, I do have sound on there, so that means that we are live on the air. So, we'll continue the show as if nothing went wrong, but something's definitely going wrong with the mix for some reason. And that doesn't usually happen. Usually that works the way it's supposed to. Alright, tonight's show. I'm here alone. Hey, you women out there. Come keep Mr. Trash company. No. Anyway, it's snowing really bad outside, and as it always is fun, it is another day here for the studio. I mean, because I don't have to go anywhere. I can just go to the studio and record or do whatever I want. But for some reason, people don't like snow. Well, I don't like snow either. I'm glad that I am. I'm glad that I'm not going to be going out in this stuff anytime soon. That's one reason why I retired in winter, so I could actually not have to go anywhere. And that's my preferred way of doing things, is not doing them in the wintertime. I don't know about anyone else, but I prefer not to, be outside the cold and freezing and all that. Although I went out yesterday and I freezed my buns off. Couldn't tell if you looked. I still have buns. I wonder if this is the reason. What if I hit that? I'll bet you it might be back with that. All right. Well, anyway, it's good to be back on. It's not good to be flying solo because I haven't done that for, 2 weeks? I think it was 2 weeks, or maybe it was longer. I'm now showing on the video portion of the show the date on the screen, because I noticed that when I do shows, I don't know which one they are, which ones are which. So I decided that I'm going to put the date on the screen so that we don't have to guess anymore what they are. And the only problem with this, the way it's going now, is I can't tell who is watching the show. Video portion of the show, the date on the screen, because I noticed that when I do shows, that's me. Which one they are talking, which ones are which. Let's see if I can mute me. Yeah, there we go. I mute it. Now, until I get my other screen up, I'll have to go with that, and I'll have to try to pay attention to that while other things are going on. And it's really weird looking at myself in the picture. And there's an addition to this program that it actually will do this stuff for me, and I just need to learn the addition and see what it is that I need to do to make it happen. Okay, now the other screen is up, and I know this is just so fascinating for everyone out there to see the issues that I have with the show, and they're all stupid little issues, and they're all issues that I should have learned how to overcome by now. Of course, I don't have anybody engineering it except me, so I'm going to take a drink of my shake. By the way, I want you to know I'm on Nutrisystem, and they're not paying me to say this. This is my 3rd week on Nutrisystem. I'm already down at least almost, let's see here, I'm down about 12 pounds for 2 weeks, so that's not bad. And the first week is a nightmare. You gotta live on 1,200 calories a day, and that, I didn't think I was going to make it. When I started doing that, I thought, oh, this was a wrong move for me, because you go down to 1,200 calories. Now I'm up to 1,500 calories, and I got to tell you, 1,500 calories actually is a lot of food. I mean, it's not a lot of food; it's a lot of eating through the day, because you gotta stretch things out and stuff like that. And I started, and it's real food. That's the thing that's really kind of cool. It's you're not using like fake food. You're actually using real food. So yeah, I'm going to be getting my next shipment of food in the next couple days, I think. Now the question is, are we gonna get sound up there now that I rebooted it? It should. Okay. All right, now, if I can only figure it out. I hate when things like this will work one week, and then the next week, it just all of a sudden decides it doesn't want to work. And I really hate that, because it was working really well, and then it just decided to stop working altogether. So I can't imagine what the difference is between now and then, but it isn't working now, and it was working then. So, all right, this is going to take me just a couple more seconds to diagnose, I think. And the diagnostics are going to tell me why I'm not able to do a show on the, okay. Because I really don't want to go without the mix, because the mix has been really good for me, or to me, and I really think it's important to have them, get the show. And there we go. Sound. And why doesn't the sound come through? That's the question. For some reason, this computer's really going slow, too. I wonder if the computer's going out on me. I know that it was making weird sounds. And it just might have bit the dust. But it wouldn't usually bite the dust like that. All right. Let's see. Test your microphone. Well, that's not really what we're all about. The input is what I want to figure out, because we didn't change anything from the last time till now, and it was working fine before. And I'm looking here, and there's no sound readings at all, and I don't understand what happened. All right. Let's see if we can activate this. And I know this is so fascinating. I can't understand what happened here, though. Okay. What is going on? Kind of weird. It looks like the sound card may have died on me, because it isn't coming up. Well, that's sucky. That is big time sucky. Because that will not do. Because that, well, it says that the mic input is still working. So let's find out what I'm plugged into. Headphones and microphone. Well, that's what it's plugged into. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to go without it. A shame. A really big shame, because I really hate when it doesn't work. And there's the microphone settings. And I set it to maximum. And let's put a little boost on that mic. Oh, wait, now we got something. Maybe I figured it out. Hello? Well, now it looks like just noise. That's really odd. Now I'm really confused, because I never had it do that before. It's at 100%. Okay. Alright, I don't know what's going on. Guess I gotta wing it without the mix this week, and I gotta do what I gotta do, but for some reason we don't have any sound there. So I apologize to, of course you can't hear my apology, because, you don't hear me. So I can't understand why it's dying. But those computers are like that. They're really picky about things, and it kind of sucks. So I guess I'll just have to bring up and use it as a functioning, where is it? Okay, go to my place, go to here. Well, it says Java. Wonder if there's a Java issue. Alright, anyway, rather than fight over this, I'm just going to go without it this week and figure it out. I'll just have to bring up and use it as a functioning, where is it? Okay. Alright, now I can't shut me up. My place, go to here. Well, it says Java. There we go. There we go. All right, anyway. All right, we're going to let it go. We'll see if anything gets recorded, because I'm going to record it anyway. And hopefully, it looks like it's only noise. Yeah, I don't see anything that's recording. It doesn't seem to be recording anything from me. Okay, I just unplugged this. Just plugged it back in. And now, what do we got? Oh, I must have killed it. Killed it. Oh, we killed the whole the whole recording system. It didn't like that at all. It said, hey, what are you doing? So now it looks like I'm going to close the window, because it's just crashed everything. I hate that. I hate when that happens. But it's good. It's good to know that I'm still human and can't run my own machinery right. And now I'm really locked up. So, alright, how do we kill it? I gotta kill it. Wow. Got a lot of windows to kill. Anyway, I know that's really interesting to everyone. Well, no one. I know that's interesting to no one. And So I'm going to crash this system out and start again. And I'm going to continue the show without the issue. So, all right, here we go. And there goes this. There goes this. And there goes nothing. It doesn't do anything. So, oh well. All right, well, I'm going to record it anyway. I don't know if anything's going to come out of it. It doesn't appear to be going to work, but it happens. All right, here we go. The movies. Let's do the movies. The movies last week, there was 2 movies last week. One was called The Kid Who Would Be King, and the other one was called Serenity. I said it was going to do, I said the Kid That Would Be King would be first, Serenity would be second. Trish said the opposite. Who is the winner? The winner is, drumroll please, I got to figure out, let's see. Usually Trish pulls this up, but now I'm going to have to pull it up. The chart, the weekly chart. Here we go. And the winner was the Kid That Would Be King was number 1. Serenity was number 2. 7 million for the King, and Serenity was 4.5 million, which was really horrible. Hey, Greg Spitz just joined the room. Good to see you. The Serenity really tanked. It did 4.5 million. The Kid That Would Be King did 7 million, which was really, really horrible. Up against, I said it was going to do 15 million. It did 7, and I said Serenity was going to do 12 million. It only did 4.4 million. Trish said it was going to that the Serenity was going to do 20 million, and that the Kid would do 16 million. So I won that for last week. 1, 2, and 3, I said it was going to be Glass, followed by Upside, followed by Aquaman. It was Glass, followed by Upside, by Aquaman. So I got that right on the nose. Next week we only have one movie, and I think it's going to be a good one. It's the woman who I really like, Gina Rodriguez. She is playing a badass woman. That's a surprise. That's because she is a badass woman, but she's from the Fast and the Furious franchise, and I like her. She's going to be the next Mrs. Trash, I think. I think she's a pretty cool person. She has a movie out, and this is a really interesting movie because it's called Miss Baja, and apparently in this movie she's not, she doesn't start out to be a badass. She just is a badass, I guess. So now I got to figure out. Okay, there we go. All right, and so let's see what Miss Badass. See, that's what it should be called, Miss Badass. It shouldn't be called Miss Baja. All right, we'll get this in. It'll be here in a second. And I see Mike Black joined the chat room. It's a quiet chat room. I'm surprised. I really would have thought a lot of people would be here today. Or if they're there, they're just not telling me they're there. All right, here we go. This is... Oh, wait a minute. This is... Miss Baja.
I'm so happy that you're here. After my parents died, I didn't really think I was going to be able to come back to Tijuana. But you always made me feel like family. You are my family.
I need you to do a favor for me first. You mess around and I'll kill you both.
Park the car real close to the curb. Let's go.
Is this you?
You have to believe me. They made me do it.
The building that you blew up is a DEA safe house. You know how long you'll go away for? Unless you help us get Nino Esparza.
You wonder how these women keep getting caught in these little webs. I mean, geez, she should have just said, just say no. Just say no. That's all you say. And then you're fine.
Please.
I can see it in your eyes. See it in your face.
Forget your friend. No one's coming to save you.
Whether or not you survive, it's entirely up to you.
You're gonna be my queen. So you gotta learn how to use one of these. La bala, the bullet. La bala settles everything.
Some people were just made for AR, or AR, whatever that is, or AK-47. Some people just, they belong there.
Ever since you showed up, the police been one step ahead.
You better do what you need to do.
Tell Lino, there's a mole in this operation.
I have a plan. I'm gonna come back for you.
Tell me lies. I'm gonna hurt you.
I'm not giving up on my family. La bala. In the end, the bullet settles everything.
Just put it out there. If Miss Rodriguez is listening, I love you, and I want to have your child. Well, I still love you, even if I don't have your child. Anyway, all right, let me see. There we go. All right, I got everything working again, except for the mix, which isn't apparently working. All right, that's the only movie we have. And if Trisha's there, if she's listening, please call in so we can get your picks for next week. If you're not listening, then I guess don't call in, and that means you're listening to somebody else, and that's not what I want. So, also I'll be working a wrestling show in April, so keep tuned, and I'll tell you more later on it. But should be interesting. Plus, my band will be playing in June and in August. So, just to, let you know that we are out there yet. And I see Russell Robertson and Debbie both joined the chat room. And let's see here. Okay. I got to make up a time that I can see Debbie. She hasn't seen my new car yet, so I want her to see it. It's kind of cool. And, all right, so we did this. All right, so we can cancel. Oh, so the big three, yeah, by the way, the big three were Glass, Upside, and Aquaman. If you take a look at the, well, wait a minute, how do I do this? Oh, this goes here. If you take a look at what the trends were, Glass is down to 18 million, but it did 73 million total, had a budget of 20 million. So they did pretty big. They really expedited their wins in the column. So they did all right. Upside did was a budget of 37.5 million. They did 62.8, and Aquaman right now I think is the number one. Oh, I wonder if that's her. Could that be her? Trash Talking Radio. Oh,
Hey.
oh, there you are. You're the okay. That's the first time I used it, so now I got to figure out. Okay, talk.
Okay, Rob told me you wanted me to call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who told you? Who told you?
So,
Who told you?
Rob, Allison.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, we started talking last week, so that's why you're not. So that's why you're not on the show. You're with him. I see.
No, I'm at home by myself, like I should be.
Like a good little girl. Okay, I need your picks for. Well, first off, you lost last week.
That figures.
It was a horrible week, though. You picked 20 million for Serenity. It did 4 million. You picked 16 million for The Kid Who Would Be King. It did $7 million. I picked them in the right order. I picked them. I mean, we both were way off on the totals. I picked Glass, Upside, and Aquaman. That's the order that they came in. So you know, it's not too bad. I mean, you picked Glass.
It's not too bad. Just kick my ass.
Okay, I did. I was trying to be nice about it. But next week we have. Oh, so that's next week we have Miss Bala. Well, only one movie, and that's the one with my girlfriend Rodriguez. And
right.
And so you got to pick. I know you're going to pick that for number one.
Of course.
All right. What do you think it's going to do?
Oh, I'm going to say. I'm going to do $27 million.
$27 million. You may take it because I have no idea what it's going to come in at. That might be your win. Then the big three. I need your big three. I have really the same stuff as last week, and plus Miss Baja, or Miss Bala.
Her girlfriend's movie, you can't even pronounce it right.
Well,
I love
it was originally going to be called Miss Baja, and
I'm going to say stay with the top three, the same as what they were this week.
You said it was. You said one was Glass. I disagree because you said one was Glass, which I can understand. You said two was Serenity, which did $4.5 million, and you did three was Upside.
Okay. So let me change that. Let's say Glass is one, Miss Bala is two.
And I will tell you this, just because I'm a nice guy. Glass.
Yeah, Upside is three.
Glass did $18 million last week.
I don't know. I just see
Well,
this is what happens when I don't.
Let me give you a hint, because I'm a nice guy. You probably should pick Miss Bala for number one, because you said 27. You said it's going to do 27, so you should.
Okay.
So you should probably pick Miss Bala for number one.
Okay.
See, I'm being nice. The rest of it, you had number two. You said was Serenity, which did horrible. Number three, you said was, I think you said, wait a minute, let me look, I forget what you said three was. You said three was Upside, which did...
Well, Glass, okay, if Miss Bala is number one, then Glass should be number two.
Right.
Right.
And then Upside, you picked at $11 million last week as number three. So your top three for the week was Glass, Upside, and Aquaman for this week. But none of them did over 10 million. And in fact, none of them did over 20 million. Since I'm guiding you here because you don't have a screen in front of you.
Right.
And I'm trying to make it fair.
I know you are. I appreciate that.
Because I don't cheat.
No, you just stretch it a little bit.
I don't cheat. All right, so one you picked is Miss Bala, which I also picked.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to stick for top three. Miss Bala is one. Glass is two. Oh, God, what do I want to say the third one as? Yeah, I'm going to say Upside is three.
Yeah, that's exactly what I picked. So we're going to have to pick a grand total between the three.
Like the total?
A total for the three.
27. 45 million.
All right, that may be accurate. I don't have any idea. And I don't have my total yet, so I'm going to say... If Bala does really, really well, because it's the only movie that's opening, 45 could be 27 and 10. Jeez, I think I'm going to pull you. I'm going to do 40 million. But I could be wrong, because if it...
You can't fool me. Only I can do that.
Well, usually I have my numbers before you do, so... I'm going to do it to you because you always do it to me. But it could, I mean, if Bala, just think about it. If Bala does 60 million by itself, you win. If Bala does 40 million, I win. So if it doesn't do well, I win. If it does really well, you win. So either way, I may be screwing myself. I may be screwing myself by not saying 46 million, which is what you would do. You do that to me. So. But I'm only, what I'm thinking of is that because everybody did, the best one did 18 million this week, and the second one did 12 million, and then they were all under 7. So I'm counting on them not. I'm counting on if the first one does okay, the other ones are going to die. So you still may win. I mean, there's a good chance you could win, because all Bala has to do is more than.
What happens, won't we?
Huh?
I said, we'll see what happens, won't we?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's all I needed.
Okay.
I needed to hear the phone anyway, because that's the first time we've used the phone, and I got to figure out where the sound's coming from so I can mic it better. Because you're not sounding as good as I wanted you to sound, because I don't know where the sound's coming out of. But anyway, all right. I'll see you next week. I'll see you next week. I wonder if she hung up on me. Well, that's cool. She hung up on me. All right. Anyway, back to the grand scheme of things. All right. What do I do? This one? No. No, this one. This is what I got to do. All right. There I am. All right. Now. Okay. Let's see what we got to do here. I need to. See, I wish I knew what was going on with the sound, because the sound just isn't right up there, and it should be. Check. I don't know what's going on with it. It's driving me nuts because I don't know. Anyway, the other two seem to be doing all right. I just don't know what's going on with that. Wonder if I could take the sound out of the output of. Maybe I could take. I don't know. Very complicated. Can't figure it out. Can't figure out what happened. At least it's not the video that's dead, but it's kind of sucks because the audio is important to me too. All right, what are we doing here now? I'm on to the next thing. All right, let's see. Hey, Gary Wolf just entered the room. All right. Now we're on to entertainment. We'll be talking about the SAG Awards. There we go. All right. It says here, the SAG Awards Stunt Ensemble honors Black Panther and Glow. That's kind of a weird combination of the two. I saw both the movie Black Panther and the TV show Glow. Kind of surprised by that, but it's interesting. It says Black Panther, it says here, stunt teams from Black Panther and Glow walked away with this year's SAG Awards for outstanding action performances by film and television. Yeah, I guess I could agree with that, because Black Panther had some great television, or great movie stuff. It talks about the winners were announced Sunday on the red carpet during the live pre-show for the 25th annual SAG Awards. So I think it's really cool that both of those won awards. I didn't think that anything would come from.
All right, here we go. Now, Harry, you have the honoree for outstanding action performance by a stunt ensemble in a motion picture.
Yes, and the nominees: Ant-Man and the Wasp, Avengers: Infinity War, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Panther, Mission Impossible Fallout, and the actor goes to... Drum roll, here we go! Uh-oh! Black Panther!
Yeah! All right, congratulations. Right. Again, that's for outstanding action performance by a stunt ensemble in a motion picture. Black Panther, Glow taking it for drama and comedy.
And I think really Glow should do that, because they really did a nice job of doing the video. Wait a minute here. Let me see. This is okay. Let me see if this is the.
Both of these guys, they're here announcing the honorees for outstanding action performances by film and television stunt ensembles. So, Sydney, you have the first honoree of the night for outstanding action performance by a stunt ensemble in a comedy or drama series. Take it away. Let's see who's taking home the actor. The nominees.
The nominees are Glow, Marvel's Daredevil, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, The Walking Dead, and Westworld.
All right, here we
That's
go.
a tough
Drum roll, please.
The actor goes to... Oh, man. Glow!
Glow takes home the first award of the night. My goodness. Again, that is for the stunt ensemble and comedy or drama series. Very excited for them. You guys love fans.
Love Glow.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see wrestling in that way. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
really, it's cool.
Yeah. I want to see you, like, taking some...
I really liked that because Glow really did put a pretty good show together. It was, I kind of, being that I liked the wrestling part, I really hated Glow when it was on. I thought it was a poor representation of what women's wrestling, what women's wrestling had become by that time. They really have told a good story with the Glow product, with the series, and I found that I liked the series. I didn't like the real Glow because a lot of the storytelling and a lot of the action was really bad, and the stories were really bad. But the TV show I find very entertaining, and it's actually very true to life to a lot of ways in that, people were sharing rooms and they're not making any money and they're just wanting to follow their dreams. And I like the fact that they were able to put that story together, and I thought that they did a good job of doing that with that product. So, more power to them. I'm glad that they were able to win an award. And Black Panther, that goes without saying, that really did a good job of portraying or telling that story, and I really was glad that got the recognition that it deserved. So here's some of the other SAG awards. I decided to put it together, and here is well, I didn't put it together. I stole it off the internet, but the full list of the SAG awards are here, so I will just give you that. Okay, here's what we got. We got the Motion Picture Award, Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in a Leading Role. Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody is the winner. I really didn't think he was not going to win that because he did such an outstanding job, but I was kind of sad about Bradley Cooper not getting it. But if Bradley Cooper wasn't going to get it, it should be Rami, because he just did an excellent job with that product. So I think he deserves it. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a leading role. It was Glenn Close in The Wife. She was up against Mary Poppins and The Favorite and Lady Gaga in A Star is Born. And Melissa McCarthy in Can You Ever Forgive Me? I don't even remember seeing that movie, and I see every movie. Outstanding performance by a male actor in a supporting role. Mahershala Ali in Green Book. That he did such a great job in that movie. I am really glad he won that. He was up against Sam Elliott in A Star is Born, Adam Driver in Black Klansman, Timothy Chalamet in Beautiful Boy, which I haven't seen yet. I'm still, I haven't even seen it out. And Richard E. Grant in Can You Forgive Me? I never even saw that. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a supporting role. The winner was Emily Blunt in A Quiet Place. She deserved it. That was a great movie. Without a doubt, I can't even tell you who I would have put in that place other than her, but I'm glad she got that. She deserved it. And outstanding performance by a cast member in a motion picture. The cast was Black Panther that won that. That was up against A Star is Born, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Crazy Rich Asians. I'll tell you, that was a tough one. I wouldn't even know how I could have voted for that because I saw all those movies, and I'll tell you, 3 of those were in the top for me. Black Panther was in the top. Star is Born and Bohemian Rhapsody were all top-notch movies. Outstanding performance by a stunt ensemble in a motion picture. Black Panther won that. That was up against Avengers. Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I don't even think I've ever heard that. And Mission Impossible Fallout. So I think Black Panther, I think they definitely deserve that. Although Infinity War would have been a close second for me. Outstanding performance in a television movie or miniseries. Assassination of Gianni Versace was the winner of that by a male actor. And outstanding performance by a female actor in a TV series or TV movie or miniseries. Escape from I don't know what that is. Dannemora, that's it. Patricia Arquette won that. And outstanding performance by a male actor in a drama series. Jason Bateman in Ozark. I would agree with that. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a drama series. Killing Eve. Sandra Oh won that. I don't think I saw that. Outstanding performance by a male actor in a comedy series. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Looks like Tony Shalhoub. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a comedy series. Rachel Brosnahan in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Outstanding performance by an ensemble in a drama series. This Is Us is the winner. I'll tell you what, there are many times I've freaking cried at that show. That show is really, really rough to watch because if you are expecting anything other than a drama, don't watch it. I think it's a great show, though. Outstanding performance by an ensemble in a comedy series. The winner was The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Outstanding performance by a stunt ensemble in a comedy or drama series. Glow. So there we go with the lineup of this well, shoot, who was it? It was what was I just talking about? Hold on here. Of the SAG Awards. So the SAG Awards are interesting because they are the people that are within the industry that voting on themselves, and I think sometimes they have it right. But this was a tough year for that performance or that voting because of the fact that they have so many good programs to really. Wait a minute. What am I doing? Yeah, there we go. So I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah. Keep pushing the wrong buttons. There we go. All right. You'd think I'd know how to run this stuff by now. I would have thought I knew how to run that stuff by now. Anyway, here we go. Glass tops the box office again as the nominees get a boost. It says here, according to New York Times. And while most of Hollywood was talking about the Oscar nominations, viewers stepping away to buy tickets, and one more title other than more than any others, Glass. Universal's M. Night Shyamalan directed superhero movie earned $19 million during its second weekend in theaters. That's, for a movie that really had a low budget, it did really well. I think that for sure that probably did better than they thought it was going to do. But you really got to like that kind of movie, because that movie took you on a ride. It was an interesting ride, but it took you on a ride that I've never seen a movie take you on like that before. They took the two movies before them, Split and Unbreakable, and made a third movie using that storyline. And I thought that was kind of interesting because the storyline definitely was bizarre. And the way they brought everything together, I thought was really interesting. The way that they brought all the characters together. And it was done in a kind of ingenious way that they were able to pull those characters together and make an interesting story. That's interesting to me. Matthew McConaughey had Serenity out, and that really bombed. I mean, really only did $4.4 million. So Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway's Serenity delivers biggest box office bomb of their careers. I found that really interesting because Matthew McConaughey has played some pretty interesting things that have been really strange movies. But for some reason, this one didn't really... I mean, a lot of the weird ones he acted in, like Magic Mike and stuff like that, guess I gotta pull that volume down because it's really loud. Anyway, this weekend's two new wide releases, McConaughey and Serenity, The King and here we go. Both Arthur the Kid and the Serenity flopped. Who instead continued to flock The Glass and Kevin Hart's Upside. The Kid Who Would Be King opened poorly with $7.3 million against a $59 million budget. That's got to be a negative. While Serenity only made a minor disturbance at the box office, which was 4.5, it says 4.8 million, but it said 4.4 what I had. That has to be such a big flop to them, because you figure that the biggest part of Serenity was Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway, but they didn't advertise that very well. I didn't see any ads for that at all until the week of. And usually you see ads months ahead of time. But they didn't seem to think that that was going to be a big deal. They thought that those names may have done well if they had just told people, hey, this movie's coming out. But, I had to look a couple times to see who was in Serenity because I never saw any trailers until... I think my show, and The Kid Who Would Be King was really a poor trailer. I want to see it, but it wasn't a big rush for me to see. They, should have at least done a little more advertising on it. I think they shot themselves in the foot. Either that or Matthew McConaughey really isn't the draw that they thought he was in Anne Hathaway. I can't believe that that's the case. I believe that it's just poor advertising. So it may do better. I don't know. It may not do better, but I think they blew it by not having a well enough advertising campaign on it. So I don't know. I just see this ad here, or this. This is. This sounds really bizarre, and that's why I want to read it. I just saw this. Okay, it says Artie Lang claims he was kidnapped 11 months due to gambling debts. He looks horrible there. I don't know. I should have put him on my death pool. Anyway, Artie Lang, who recently blamed his collapsed nose on years of drug abuse, revealed an injury he received when he allegedly was kidnapped 11 months ago. Is partially responsible. I'm really surprised that guy's still alive. He just takes drugs. He just gambles. Gambles money he doesn't have. And that's a shame. He was such a great comedian and had such major help from people that, loved him and tried to take care of him. But he just kept abusing his friends and stuff. according to him, I still gamble a lot. That is my worst vice for a long time, was gambling, because it led to everything else. I'm the kind of guy just escalates. Lang said on a recent episode of the podcast, "Are we still talking about this?" I owed 2 bookies, 62 grand, and a kid who worked for the bookie. We'll call him an African American. He was collecting, and he thought I was a billionaire because he saw me on TV, and he kidnapped me. 51-year-old comedian explained that he was on his way to his truck when he heard someone call his name before getting hit in the nose. Jesus. That would be a good TV show, or a good movie. The kid right here, boom, knocked me out for like 10 minutes. He said, when I woke up in his van, Lang told the 19-year-old who planned to get $100,000 from him that he should think about what he was doing, since he was friends with the bookie and had known him since he was 12 years old. The warning seemed to work. You're a kid. Like, this was a dumb plan, the comedian explained. Like, I actually felt bad for him, and he kind of got scared, and he left. And he left me in his van. Soon after, when Lang was in jail last year on drug-related charges, he said his bookie called him and asked how they would handle the kidnapper. I go, nothing. I don't want anything to happen. Just keep him away from me. He goes, yeah, we tuned him up. We sent him to North Carolina. I'm like, you want to announce any other felonies on the jail phone? The Mad TV star said the attack was partly to blame for his now deformed nose. It destroyed my nose, the septum from the abuse, from the years of drugs, and then this broke it. And I've had 2 operations, and, it's just in bad shape. Oh, man, that guy. He's in bad shape. I can't believe he actually made it to 51. So, I don't know. I don't think he's going to live forever. But it's a shame. He's very talented, and I always liked his comedy, but, man, that guy's got serious issues. That's just bizarre. Back to the movies. Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga, they surprise an audience with with Shallow duet. That's kind of fun, He, I want to hate the guy. I mean, I want to hate the guy because he's good looking. He has musical talent. He writes and just acting talent. But you can't hate the guy. The guy's he just is a good guy. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper performed Shallow live for the first time ever on Saturday Night Live. And during Gaga's Enigma residency concert in Las Vegas, the singer invited her A Star is Born co-star and director up on stage with her. Cooper, who was seated in the audience, had the crowd cheering as he joined Gaga to perform their duet. Yeah. That's, I'm really kind of sad because he turned out to be really good. In the so good. I'll tell you what, I never really cared for her until this movie. And I realized how freaking good she is. And You know, she's very talented. Of course, he is too. I didn't realize he played guitar and all that stuff. He is one of those guys that you just he looks so good. You just can't think what else can you do? What else could you possibly do? So there's a new documentary out about Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson's estate responds to Leaving Neverland documentary. They aren't real happy with the documentary. They're boy, I'll tell you what, it tries to really bury him. Well, not that he's not already buried, but wow, it just they accuse the Michael Jackson people accuse the filmmakers of propaganding lies and ignoring particular facts. I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to hate Michael Jackson anyway. Besides, he's dead. He's dead, what, 5 years now, 7 years, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter anymore, does it? It says, Leaving Neverland debuted on the Sundance Film Festival yesterday and received a standing ovation. Michael Jackson's estate addressed the film critics described as shocking. A statement released on the same day as the documentary accuses the production of focusing on false allegations against the singer while dismissing the favorable testimonies. According to the estate, Leaving Neverland is the kind of tabloid character assassination Michael Jackson endured in life and now in death. The statement qualifies the men featured in the production, Wade Robson and James Safechuck, as two perjurers. This claim refers to sworn statements the pair had previously given, stating that Michael Jackson had never abused them. They cleared his name while the King of Pop was still alive and have clearly recanted all this after his death through the film. In 2005, Robson testifies for Jackson's defense during the trial that concluded with the entertainer's acquittal on molestation charges. The statement also slams the documentary for focusing on these two individuals and omitting those who have stood by Jackson in his defense over the years. He treated children with respect and did nothing hurtful to them. They added the film takes uncorrigible allegations that supposedly happened 20 years ago and treats them as fact. I don't even know. At this point, the guy can't stand up for himself because he's dead. And when these people had their chance to say he was guilty, they didn't. So to me, it seems really odd that they would, at this point, be able to go back and change their statement. I don't know. No one has any proof, and there's no way to get proof at this point, this many years later. So, I don't know. I just think, just let the guy die. That's the best thing we can do. And his children don't need to hear that. And his children are going to have to deal with that kind of stuff. It just, they're messed up enough, I'm sure. So, I just think that it's weird. WWE is doing a halftime show to compete with the halftime show that they already that the NFL has. So they're going to have a halftime show with NXT 6-man tag match. So if you don't want to listen to the halftime show, you switch to the WWE Network, and there you go. It's a TakeOver. Phoenix last night had a bunch of action. After the show that went off the air, there was a brawl featuring the NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa, North American champion Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, and Ricochet. It was good for a little internet buzz, but we did not know where it was heading until tonight on the Royal Rumble kickoff show. NXT trainer Shawn Michaels announced that after the brawl will lead to a 6-man tag team with Gargano, Ciampa, and Cole on one side against Ricochet, Black, and Dream on the other. And it'll air during the Super Bowl halftime. It may be a stupid idea. It may be a brilliant idea for people that really don't care about the Super Bowl halftime show. It'll be a brilliant mark, but I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do with that. I think they would do better if they used names that were household names. But I think it's interesting. I'm sure that a certain amount of wrestling fans are going to tune in on that. So it could be good. It could be, and it might be interesting as for someone to watch that isn't familiar with the product, and they become familiar with the product by that. I don't know. I don't know if it's because none of those are big names in the WWE. They're the names in NXT. So, it may be worth watching. So, we'll have to see if their gamble is going to pay off on this because I guess the other thing it cost them is I'm thinking it's a pre-tape match. So, I would think it is pre-taped, right? I would imagine it is. I don't know. The next wrestling story is an interesting story. It talks about Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger, it says here, the WWE locker room was very excited when Jack Swagger won his MMA debut. Not like the CM Punk one where he got beat, but it's interesting. He left the WWE, a couple years ago, probably more than a couple years ago. It's a pretty timed night for fans and scripted fights, and for people who at least sometimes perform in them. Jack Swagger, or Jake Hagar, his pro MMA debut with Bellator 214 happened at moments after the WWE NXT takeover. Phoenix went off the air. It was good timing too because it meant fans got to see R-Truth wrap Hagar to the cage for his fight against J.W. Kaiser, but also because the fight was over pretty fast. The WWE World Heavyweight Champ won by submission at 2 minutes and 9 seconds of the first round in a arm triangle choke. This means that even if they wanted to watch the black and yellow brand do their thing, Swagger's old co-workers at the WWE locker room could watch his fight. They did, and they liked what they saw. The Miz said, "Congratulations, that was an awesome. That was awesome." And Ziggler said, "Killer debut, way to dominate." WWE Big E said, "Bellator swags," and Rusev said, "Congrats. He goes hard for the endurance." And T.J. Wilson, we haven't heard him for a long time, huddled around a tiny iPad to watch, and real Jack Swagger win his debut with a great sigh. And Austin Creed said it was congrats, and Bailey said congrats, and it's just kind of neat that somebody actually won their fight in 2 minutes. I don't know if this is the fight or not. Let's see.
Switch. Easy to say. See? Switch. Easy to say.
He looks good there. He looks pretty good. I gotta tell you. Whenever we can see the fight, we can probably see the fight somewhere. Be interesting to see it. Because Swagger was always good at wrestling. Now, he took it to the next degree, and we haven't seen him on TV forever. So, last story of the entertainment. only because the Avengers is coming out real soon. The Avengers Infinity War theory suggests Star-Lord freakout actually saved the others fighting Thanos. So they took the video, so I can't play the video, but I can tell you what I'm talking about. But because they restrict, by the way, I understand them doing that stuff because they constantly are restricting my videos. So it just, you know, you gotta deal with it. And actually, recently they released one of my videos in without me writing any kind of reason why I did it. But I think Universal released my video without me writing a reason why, because I really think they need to rethink what they're trying to fight for. If they're like trying to close my show down because of me advertising their show, they got to rethink that because that's free advertising. So anyway, in moments one of the most controversial moments of Avengers Infinity War, Peter Quill, Star-Lord, repeatedly beat Thanos in the face, waking him up from a slumber as they worked to remove the gauntlet from his hand. Fans instantly took sides on this issue, with a good chunk of them thinking the leader of the Guardians ruining their shot at taking down the Mad Titan. Others naturally argued that Quill did what he needed to do, and one recent theory argues that Star-Lord was allowed to wake up Thanos because it was the only way for the hybrid group of Avengers and Guardians to end up on the winning end. I didn't think about this till after I read this. Posted to the fan theories, the theory states that Thanos was holding back on Titan because he already had the majority of the stones, and he was explicitly trying to make unnecessary kills because he was either trying to save energy for the final fight on Earth, or the loss of Gamora was weighing hard on him. So he was holding back, is what the theory is. And when Star-Lord started pounding his face in, it kind of woke him up and made him mad enough to exert the energy that he needed to exert for the for this all to work out. So that way, if you remember when Doctor Strange said, you know, he figured it out in how many millions of ways that it could happen, and this was the only way that they could win. That is part of what he was thinking about, was that this had to happen for his side to eventually win. So we'll see if that's the case, but it's interesting that they came up with that theory, and it could be true, but, you know, we're going to find out in April, and, you know, we'll find out with the Captain Marvel coming out a couple weeks before that, and we'll get to figuring out if that is indeed the way it's supposed to be. All right, next one. So I actually talked to my brother this week, and my brother and I don't usually see eye to eye, but I called him for his birthday, which was last week, and I just decided that I would tell him about my car and stuff, and he didn't like my car. He kind of, I think he was joking with me. I hope he was joking with me, but he said that my car, which happens to be a Tesla, is basically a mom car, or lady car, or whatever he wants to call it. Now I'll tell you, it's anything but that. I got a Tesla Model X. It's a very fast car, and it is far, far more than just a woman's car. In fact, we'd be hard-pressed to think of a way that a woman would be considering this a woman's car. This is a a very upscale car. I was telling him that some of the races that the car was doing and giving him links to them, and we'll be talking about those later. Actually, why don't we talk about those right now? Because I found a lot of really cool articles. Of course, I'm going to like Tesla. But one of the things that they found out, and I shouldn't reveal this because this is a big deal, but according to this story, the Model 3 can be easily broken into. So the Model 3 owner 3D prints a rear seat lock that prevents break-ins. So criminals are really very intelligent in the way they do things. Over the past few months, an increasing number of break-ins and thefts involving Tesla cars were reported in California Bay Area. Due to their increasing number on the highway, the Tesla 3 became a popular target for thieves. And they apparently exploited what appears to be a weak point in the electric car. During the incidents, thieves would break the vehicle's rear quarter window, allowing them to lower the back seats and survey the contents of the Model 3's trunk. If anything is in the trunk that seemed valuable, the full passenger window would then be broken to gain entry into the vehicle, seemingly in response to these incidents. As well, reports involving Tesla being damaged while unattended. Elon Musk announced that the company will be introducing Sentry Mode. Sentry Mode really looks cool. It's an upcoming security feature, which I'll talk about in a second. So as it came out, here's what the situation is. They made this metal arm here that is going to lock out.
Here's the locking mechanism I came up with for the Tesla Model 3 rear seats. The mechanism is the same in both of these, but the lever is just a little different. So this one is just a simple lever. It's a little hard to reach from the trunk, so then I also made this version, which just extends. Makes this a little easier to reach from the back. Here's a close-up view of how the mechanism works. When you push this into the lock position, it prevents the latch on the car from rotating and releasing the seat.
Interesting. See, I don't have that on the X.
For each lock mechanism, these three parts are the same for both versions. This is the shorter lever, and these parts are for the extended lever. We also need 2 M8 nuts and washers, and a couple of extension springs. The springs I got out of one of these kits, like you can get at Harbor Freight. I used the.
We don't need to see this whole thing, but I just think it's an interesting thing that somebody came up with. That, you know, will keep people hopefully from breaking in. It sucks that that you can't have anything nice without somebody trying to figure out a way to make it, you know, horrible. But I don't know. People are like always looking for something for nothing, or in the case of some of these people, they're always looking to. Well, I don't know. It just irritates me that there are so many people out there that are trying to ruin it. You know, we work hard to get our things just like everybody else. And, you know, you got people out there that are trying to take something that isn't theirs and at any cost. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of bummed about that we even have to worry about things like that, that this is even an issue. So, it shouldn't be, but it is. Just is a shame that people just can't leave their grubby fingers off of something that isn't theirs. But I don't know. I like the idea that somebody actually took action on it, and that somebody actually thought that quickly of an easy fix for it. So, very cool. I do like it. So, alright, what happened here? try to copy this and put it here. Huh. Doesn't let me do it. Alright, well, I guess I can't tweet that because it doesn't let me tweet it. And there's no place in the page that allows me to tweet this. Really weird. Huh. Alright. Anyway, so the next story is, well, they came up with Sentry Mode. So Sentry Mode is for people that have a vehicle and people are trying to break into the vehicle. So they came up with this thing called Sentry Mode, and it's really cool. It takes the existing cameras on the car, and and actually, the upcoming version will have a 360-degree recording capability. It says the first version, the first rough beta version of Tesla's Sentry version is arriving 2 to 3 weeks, according to Elon Musk. An upcoming security feature that's expected to add 360-degree recording capabilities to all Model S, Model X, and Model 3 vehicles equipped with Autopilot 2.5 hardware. Comes in response to owners looking to find better methods to protect their cars from vandalism and break-ins. I like that idea. I remember putting my Tesla in a parking lot in Hershey at the Giant Center, and I was there to see a wrestling event. When I came out, somebody had kicked in the fender, and that sucked. And not only did that suck, but there was nothing I could do about it because nobody saw it. And if I had something like this, it would have said, we got you. And it says here the Tesla owner Andy Sutton took to the Twitter to contact Musk and share his photo of his red Model 3 with a large dent in the door. Found this monster dent this morning right in front of the rear-facing camera. Really wish there was a 360 dash camera feature while parked. Musk took notice and acknowledged that a Sentry Mode was coming soon and would seemingly address this issue. Now, 3 days later, the Tesla CEO has confirmed timing for the first version of an upcoming vehicle surveillance feature. Tesla owners, including employees who have been selected to participate in the company's private beta program, will be the first to receive the upcoming over-the-air software update. I want to find out about this beta. I want to find out. I want to be part of this. Oh, interesting. I guess this will be the next story. Tesla reportedly starts incentivized full self-driving beta test for employees. Well, I want to be part of that. I'm not an employee, but I want to be part of it. It says here Tesla's reportedly, it says here 100 employees who are willing to test out the full driving suite for their participation in the FSD beta test. Tesla employees would be part of the program and reportedly receiving autopilot and full self-driving, as well as the premium upgrades package worth $13,000 for free. Of course, I already have that in my package. The program was reportedly outlined in an email to employees written by Elon Musk, later obtained by Bloomberg. The email reportedly noted that the internal testing program would require Tesla employees who purchase one of the employees' electric cars to drive 300 to 400 hours of real-world driving, feedback to Auto Team Pilot, by the end of this year. In his message, Elon reported optimistically that 100 shots of the full driving beta tester program would be likely to be filled soon. I want to be part of that. That'd be fun. Oh man, I want to do that. I love the full driving thing works pretty good. It isn't great, and there's a lot of negative things to it. But I really, to me, it's real important that this car succeed, because there is so many things this car could do to change the way we all drive. And I would love, more than anything, to see it succeed. It would be an awesome thing for I mean, because if this becomes a regular thing for everybody's driving, you know, it has to start somewhere. And I don't know, it just kind of, I really feel that it's important that we all be able to take advantage of that technology. So, I don't know. It would be interesting to see it. I would like to definitely have it happen. So, all right, let's see here. All right, next is I got another. Let me put this in here. Paste this address in here. All right. I got to do this by hand because for some reason it's not allowing me to do it by the Twitter account and stuff. All right, next one. I found this really interesting. The Tesla Model S is replacing police cars. Tesla Model S replaces Dodge Charger as Fremont's police department's latest patrol vehicle. That tells you something. Tells you that people got to recognize that it's a player, it's a contender. So that's one. I know there were other police departments too that said it was going to be coming, but I really like the idea that that car is taking its place in it where it should be. I mean that is by far probably the fastest car that's in the price point that it's in. That they'll be able to, you know, save money, and they'll be able to catch more criminals. Hopefully, that's what I want to see. So, who knows? It'd be kind of fun. It definitely will be interesting. But it's funny because when I look at the car, it doesn't really look like it would be a special. I mean, it doesn't look like a Tesla at first glance because they kind of modified the front end of it a little bit, maybe. Oh yeah, that's why. Because it has that metal bar in the front. So that's what the difference is. And so if I see a Tesla pulling up behind me, I'm going to have to pull over. Well, yeah, the Model S, yeah, because I couldn't beat that. So anyway, I laughed at it, at the stuff my brother was saying that the car is a mom car. And I said, well, how many mom cars are going to go out there and beat a Camaro? So he kept trying to come up with a way that could be. It says here, the Model 3 may not be Tesla's most affordable P-branded vehicle to date, but the electric sedan still packs a lot of firepower. Unlike its more expensive siblings, the SP100 and the XP100D, the Model 3 performance does not have special ludicrous mode setting that optimizes it for straight line launches. Instead, the high performance midsize electric sedan makes do with its raw power. So this is keep in mind that the P series, the P100D series, has this ludicrous mode, and it's ludicrous. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's very fast, and none of the Tesla cars are modified in any way on these races. So when we see this against the Camaro is, might be tuned up for racing, but as in previous races involving the Model 3 performance would show, even though the raw power from the car's dual motors is enough to make the vehicle a fierce competitor in quarter mile, it's even more so in the eighth mile runs. So through the Model 3 Performance's dual motors, which produce a combined 450 horsepower and 471 pound torque on the electric sedan. It's capable of propelling itself to 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. Now I do 2.9 seconds, so shows mine's just a little bit faster. The raw power of the Model 3 was put on display during a brief drag battle with a 2018 Chevy Camaro SS. A video race was posted on YouTube by SS Driver, the owner of the the Camaro SS, who noted that he and the electric sedan battled it out in an eighth-mile run. In the video's description, the Camaro's SS owner noted that his muscle car was completely stock during the race, and that he had an extra passenger. Based on the footage of the race, the Model 3 also appeared to be completely stock. The 2018 Camaro is the farthest thing from a slow vehicle, powered by a 6.2-liter LT1 V8 engine that produces 455 horsepower and 455 pounds of torque, and paired with an 8-speed transmission, automatic transmission, and is capable of sprinting 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. Just like the Model 3 performance, the Camaro is also equipped with special track mode, which optimizes the speed the vehicle for closed-circuit driving. With its track mode enabled, the Chevrolet's official website notes that the drivers of the Camaro SS would be able to adjust the vehicle's suspension, throttle progression, shift speed, and steering calibration. In any case, here is the race. Should be interesting. I have not seen this race yet. So here we go. The Camaro's on the closest to the screen. They're getting up to the starting gate. So the Camaro is on the left. The Tesla is on the right, if you're watching. And Tesla clearly is the winner of that race. Now, my brother laughed about that, and he said that that Chevy, of course, is junk. That's his idea, was to rank on Chevy. And so I said, well, you know, apparently he was just ragging on me. He was not going to ever concede that I was right, because I then spoke to him about, well, all right, how about if you know, I had different things that that we had beat. When I say we, I'm not talking about me in particular. I'm talking about other people in Tesla. I said about when there was a 4-car race with the what was that? That was a Lamborghini that they beat, and he just, you know, he kept making up all excuses. But the bottom line is he I'm sure was just having fun with me, and if he really got to see these races, I mean, I'm amazed at how fast these cars go, and it really fascinates me that they do that well. But they do that well. Here was one with a Model X. Now the Tesla Model X is what I have, so I have an interest in the Model X. It took on muscle cars at a drag race, and you know, it just they just keep racing these guys. So during drag competitions, the presence of Tesla usually teases the shakeup at the event's rankings. Thanks to their electric motors, vehicles like the Tesla Model 3, X, and S boost an instant torque, giving them a monster acceleration figure. The Model the SP100D, for one, regularly battles supercars in the quarter mile. Despite being a full-size sedan that could even seat 7, including the jump seats in the rear, an option now discontinued, they are very interesting with their premium high-performance electric motors in the races. So here is the Model X and it destroys the competition in the quarter mile or the eighth mile. So here's what we got, and oh, good, I can share this way. All right, this is what we want to do. That'll be a lot easier than I should have done that in the other ones. I could just share it that way rather than go and copy and paste. So, okay, where you at? How come you're not working? There we go. All right, here we go. We're going to see what cars it beat. So, let's see here. I think, looks like the Tesla is on the left, or the one the closest to the screen, and it blew away that muscle car on the right. There was not even a close significance of that. All right, what's next? We got another one? Oh, they got a bunch of them on here. Oh, he got a second chance. All right, number 2, second chance. Here we go. Ready. Let's go. Oh, not yet. What, do you give him a lead? What's going on here? Oh, okay, they got to get close to the light. I don't know how that works. I've never done one of those. But this is like my car, except my car is red. The blue car is the bad guy, the non-Tesla. Here we go, I think. What are we doing here? Oh, we're lining up the cars. And ready? I don't see the light changing colors. All right, they're getting... Well, that takes a lot of time to get the cars lined up. Believe me, that little difference isn't going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things, because the big difference in that race was huge. They could let that guy have a 5-second run ahead, and he still wouldn't beat the Tesla. Okay, here we go. Well, what are they backing the one car up for? Okay, here we go. Ready. What are we doing? Just do it. Watch the kid jump over in the corner. All right. Take up too much time to get this together here. Make sure that nobody gets an advantage. Here we go. Once again, the Tesla blows away the competition. Not even close. I don't know what that car is that he beat, but he beat it pretty substantially. Okay, here is... Now, what is that car? I'm trying to figure out. Okay. Got another... I can't tell what that car is. This is silly. I mean, they shouldn't even... Unless they have something major, like a muscle car, they shouldn't even bother. This guy's like having fun with them. And these are stock cars. These are not even modified. And here we go. Letting the car, looks like he let him go first. still lost. Cracks me up. People keep trying. They keep trying to make it. But you gotta realize that these electric cars, they are nothing to mess with. They don't, you don't get instant torque on the the gas cars. I really like the fact that they keep trying, though. So here is the fourth. I think I'll probably cut it after this one because there's only so many times that we want to watch the poor gas cars lose. And I don't even see the other car. Where's the other car at? apparently, judging by the stands, there aren't a lot of fans for these drag races. I see a whole handful of fans. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, like four fans. That's funny. Okay, why did it go to mute? All right. Well, anyway, you've seen the general idea is that poor gas cars aren't going to win. They haven't won one yet, and they lose by a substantial amount. So it's not like it's just like we're winning by a second or something. We're flatly winning them against it. And the fans are going crazy. The whole 6 of them. Here we go. And once again, the Tesla blows away the competition. Anyway, rather than watch it over and over again, which I enjoy, but I doubt that anybody else does, that's the end of that. So, it's kind of funny. But, oh yeah, so my brother is into Ford. And of course, I had to tell him, we got Fords. We take on Fords too. We take on all comers. So we got the Mustang GT, and that was in a drag race as well. And that's the GT does 0 to 60 in what's it do? Where's it at here? Let's see if it says the Model 3. Okay. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't say. Wait, here we go. Here we are. It says here. Talks of Model 3 battling what appeared to be a 5th generation Mustang Ford GT 5.0 at a dragway, ATCO Dragway in New Jersey. The Mustang is one of Ford's most notable creations, and for good reason. The Mustang GT, for one, is equipped with a 5.0 V8 engine, and it's producing 420 horsepower and 390 foot torque pounds of torque, and 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, and a quarter mile in 12.7 seconds. So they took on the Tesla, and here's what we got. Say goodbye. Tesla wipes out. That's the Tesla Model 3 now. The Model 3 is the slowest of the three models. So just blows away the Model 3. The Model 3 just blows away the Mustang without even blinking. So I feel sorry that that people don't believe that these cars are so fast. And I don't know. I don't know what it's got to take. What it's going to take to have people see the reality of these cars. This is what it says here. What's this? 2018 Car of the Year. Is that true? Oh, look at this. Model 3 wins Detroit News' 2018 Car of the Year award for its Apple on Wheels. It appears that Elon Musk was right to bet the future on the Tesla of the Model 3. Since the electric car started getting delivered, its long list of reservation holders, the vehicle has won the hearts of the EV enthusiasts and old school gearheads. It says here, a member of the latter group is Henry Payne of the Detroit News, who previously noted in an appearance of Autoline TV that he purchased a long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 simply because there's no other vehicle like it on the road. Payne is the true-blooded car enthusiast. Apart from being a 30-year veteran of the news industry, Payne is also an avid race car driver and professional automotive critic. He's known for, wow, we got a call here. I don't know if it's going to be a call on, let's find out. Trash Talking Radio. Hello? What's that? You're who? Hello? What's that?
How you doing, John?
I'm not John.
It's good to see you, John.
This is Trash Talking Radio. Yes.
All right, hold on a second.
I think he hung up. All right, well, that's good. All right, let's try this again. Trash Talking Radio.
Hey, Mike Trash, how's it going, Mike Trash?
It's going real good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Good to see you. Good to see you. I see you online today. Good morning.
Hold on, I'm going to dial you in here. Okay, go ahead and talk.
How's it going today? What's on the subject for today?
Well, you're on the show today.
Oh, my goodness. Is everyone one thing about Malcolm King?
Well, I'm having a first time with this phone, trying to figure out how to get the best sound out of it. And I got to figure out where the sound comes. All right. Anyway, you still there? Hello? You still there? I guess not. All right. I don't know who that was, because he didn't really respond too well. All right. Anyway, let's go back to the show. That's a lot of noise. I'm going to figure out how to get rid of all the noise. Haven't used that phone system yet. Anyway, so this was the what was his name? This was Payne. So he's talking about opening. It says here, EV buyer openly admitting he's not a greenie, noting that he is not a global warming believer. He said that there's one thing that he knows, it's cars, how they work and how good they are. It turns out that Tesla's midsize sedan ended up impressing the automaker veteran. So impressed was Payne that with his Tesla Model 3 in recent columns, he actually selected the electric car as Detroit News 2018 Car of the Year. That's right, an electric car rather than a lame version of the vehicle. Convinced that the lifelong gearhead is probably the best vehicle available to the in the United States this year. I got to tell you that car, in my eyes, these cars are awesome. They just, until you drive one, you don't realize how cool they really are. It's the Apple on wheels. Musk reimagined the car like Steve Jobs rethought the phone, and you know, that's for sure. There's so much about these cars that it would take me forever just to go through how cool these cars really are. But you know, it's really good to see that they are finally getting their finally. Oh, there you are. Okay, so I hung up. No, I didn't hang up on you. Not on purpose. You didn't tell me. I couldn't figure out who it was that was calling me. So, well, now I know who it was. But anyway, all right, that's all for, well, there's one more thing I want to tell you about Tesla that's really cool. And they have games in their car. And right now there's Atari games. But there's a new release coming out that allows you to have, it's kind of cool, pole position you can have in your car. That, to me, is right is worth the price of the car right there. So to be able to play pole position, not while you're driving, obviously, but you can play pole position if you're sitting there waiting for the charge. It's in the latest download that their firmware, and I don't think that firmware has been released because I looked on my car yesterday and it's not there. So anyway, the next download, firmware download, is going to have a whole lot more of Easter eggs, and it's going to be really kind of fun to be able to play. Play pole position. I love it. It'll be really fun. One of the things it already has is romance mode. If you have a girl and you want to take her out there and be romantic with her, you can turn on romance mode and it'll play romantic music, and it'll turn your big screen into a fireplace. That's kind of fun. And emissions testing mode, I think that one's one that I already have. It allows you, when you turn your turn signals on, it'll fart. It'll make all kinds of farting noises. And, the newest one is going to have the pole position game, which will be a lot of fun. It says a new version of the existing Test Atari game based on the arcade classic. This one is set on mode. Oh, I may already have that. I have to look. Set on Mars and appropriately named Mars Madness. Allows you to drive the Falcon 9 rocket across the track before the race begins, and allows the drivers to speed around and take in the scenery. I have to check to see if that's true. And it says Atari game controllers are now compatible to the Test Atari games. So you plug into the USB ports in the front, you can play these games with Atari controllers. So I think I'm going to have to try that. That could be fun. I definitely would enjoy that. So anyway, my dog is here bugging me. He is never getting enough attention. Anyway, so I think it'd be fun to be able to play those games. I haven't played them too much because I don't like the controls that they give you on the in the car. But I would play it if it had a good controller. So I might have to invest in an Atari controller just so that I can play them. It'd be fun. So, but it's funny. I never thought I'd be into playing these Atari games beyond, I mean, when you consider the games that are out now, the PS4 games and the Xbox One games and stuff like that. I didn't think I'd ever really look at playing games in my car that are as primitive as the Atari games are. But I don't know. I actually took one of my phones and programmed it to get TV so I could watch TV when I'm charging if I want to sit there and wait while I'm charging. So anyway, that's all right. That's enough Tesla stuff. I think I'll have more Tesla stuff next week. But yeah, let's see here. All right, I gotta get this. All right, then I'll just delete that. And we'll go on to the next topic, shootings. There's a lot of shootings out there nowadays. Seems like it's a never-ending thing. People are constantly, week to week, I see more and more. This guy here, shooting suspect arrested in deadly slaying involving parents and a girlfriend. He looks kind of psycho when you look at him. I really think that it's a shame. This guy was in his 20s. And just barely in his 20s, actually. And, I can't understand and never will understand why someone would deem it okay to shoot somebody. Even my worst enemy, I wouldn't even want to kill anybody. Seems kind of crazy. And I just think you should, if you dislike somebody, just go away. Just walk away. and don't give him the satisfaction of fighting with him or anything like that. Just let it go. It's too much at stake. I'm not willing to give up my freedom for anyone. So, but anyway, this guy here, man suspected of slaughtering 5 people, including his parents and girlfriend, was arrested Sunday after a day-long manhunt when he showed up at his grandmother's house in Virginia. Cops said Dakota Theriot, 21, began his killing spree on Saturday, gunning down his girlfriend along with her brother and father in their Louisiana home before driving 30 miles and shooting his parents dead in their trailer. The suspect's father, Keith Theriot, 50, was still alive when the authorities arrived and was given a dying declaration that it was his son that committed this act. Then, that's pretty good. At least his father gave him up. Neither Keith or his wife, Elizabeth, survived. Their son then drove 16 hours more than and 1,000 miles in a Dodge pickup truck he stole from his girlfriend's dad, hoping to find a safe place to hide with relatives in Virginia. Though Theriot didn't reach out to his grandmother, she was so scared he might try to find her, and she stayed in a hotel. Richmond County Sheriff's deputy went to check on the home Sunday morning, and Theriot pulled into the driveway. He had a gun on him. He dropped it and was taken into custody. Man, a couple of weeks ago, his parents had asked him to move out, so he shacked up with his 20-year-old girlfriend and her family, including the dad, 43, and their brother Tanner. The pair had just started dating. Authorities don't have a motive for the murder. So he just moves into his girlfriend's place, and I just can't imagine what causes someone to go crazy like that. And he had just moved in with her, so he didn't have any history with her. That shows you can't trust anyone. I don't know. But he had killed a lot of people. I can't imagine what he fought them about, but I don't know. In St. Louis, we had another problem. The St. Louis officer charged with involuntary manslaughter in a fatal shooting of a fellow officer. Come on, move up. Not that far. Has been charged with involuntary manslaughter in the first degree in the death of the fellow officer. Nathaniel Hendren, 29, is accused of killing Caitlin Alex, 24, at his residence. She was off duty when the shooting occurred, and Hendren was on duty, and the probable cause statement supporting the charges. The statement said Alex, Hendren, and Hendren's partner were playing with guns when Hendren produced a revolver. Hendren emptied the bullets from the revolver and put one of the bullets back inside the gun, spun the cylinder, and fired the gun pointing away from Alex. Oh, this is already ugly. The gun did not discharge. Alex took the gun, pulled the trigger while pointing at Hendren, but it did not fire. Hendren grabbed the gun back from Alex, pulled the trigger, and this time it fired, striking Alex in the chest. The third officer at the scene had not been identified. According to the probable cause statement, he advised Alex and Hendren they shouldn't be playing with guns and left the room. He returned after hearing the gunshot. Hendren had been charged with involuntary manslaughter in the first degree. So it looks like they were playing Russian roulette, maybe. Ooh. Well, guess what? You won. You shot somebody and killed him. And that's probably not a good way to get arrested, and also not a good way to kill somebody. That's really sad when you think about it. Because what a stupid reason to be killed. What a stupid reason to kill somebody. Doesn't make any sense at all. So, I don't know. We'll see. That sounds like are in trouble there. Man clings to the... Oh, this is a crazy one. So, if someone comes driving at you what do? You move out of the way, right? Well, that's apparently not the way this happened. This person in New England decided that he was just going to cling to he clings to the hood of the assaulter's car up on the Massachusetts Pike, and the guy was driving, I think it was like 80 or something, while he was holding on to the hood. Oh, man. I can't imagine. It just, people are nuts, I swear. So here's what happened. In a ridiculous turn of events, 65-year-old Richard Kamrowski ended up on the hood of 37-year-old Mark Fitzgerald's white Infiniti XFX during rush hour on the Massachusetts Pike. Fitzgerald allegedly drove more than 3 miles with Kamrowski on the hood, reaching speeds of up to 70 miles an hour, according to this report by NBC News. The incident allegedly began with a fender bender between the two motorists. According to Kamrowski's account of events, Fitzgerald attempted to leave the scene of the incident when he stood in front of the Infiniti SUV. He was allegedly not deterrent for Fitzgerald, who kept driving while Kamrowski jumped on the hood to avoid getting run over. I thought he was going to run me over. Kamrowski told NBC Boston, I didn't think he stopped. He kept going fast, slow, to get me to slide off. The incident came to an end when motorists boxed in Fitzgerald, so they were forced him to stop. One of these so-called Good Samaritans pulled a gun on Fitzgerald until the police arrived. When the police arrived on the scene, the gun haver, who claims to have a license to carry the weapon, was forced to the ground. The guy is not being charged with anything. Fitzgerald said anything. Now, this we actually have a really short video of this, and this is crazy. This is crazy that this guy had to do this. Here we go.
Headlines this hour, road rage on the Mass Pike. A man clinging to the hood of a car. Look at this wild video. The other behind the wheel going 70 miles an hour. The confrontation started with a fender bender and quickly got out of hand last night.
Well, the man on the hood tells us he was hanging on for at least 3 miles. Tashani Whitlow is looking into what happened. Tashani?
That's nuts.
That's right. Witnesses say this was a Good Samaritan who forced that driver onto the side of the road and pulled a gun on him.
I can't imagine.
65-year-old Richard Kamrowski says he was in survival mode as he hung onto the front of this white SUV as it flew down the Mass Pike.
I just kept telling him, stop the car, and he wouldn't stop.
Kamrowski says the driver yelled back at him to get off. He called 911 while on the car as it sped west around 4:40 Friday afternoon.
That's crazy.
I don't think he stopped. He kept going fast, slow, try to get me to slide off.
State police say 37-year-old Mark Fitzgerald of Lynn was behind the wheel. He wouldn't answer any questions and hid his space while leaving the state police barrack Friday night. Kamrowski says it all started after Fitzgerald swerved into his lane and bumped his car. He tried to get Fitzgerald to stop, but says he kept trying to take off. That's when he ended up on the hood after getting bumped by the SUV.
That's nuts.
He's thankful some Good Samaritans helped box in the SUV and kept Fitzgerald on the scene until troopers arrived.
I'm just glad that the two people that surrounded the guy were there.
We want to show you again the video of how this all ended. You see a man jump out of his car with a gun. In that video, you can hear him say he has a license to carry. Now, when troopers arrived, they don't know who he is. They order him to the ground, and he drops the gun. That man is not facing any charges. But the two drivers, well, they were arrested, and they face several charges. Back to you guys at the desk.
Tashani, thank you.
Now, I wonder what they charged the guy that was riding the hood. That was crazy. You know, it was funny when I was a kid. We used to ride my dad. My dad had the stake truck. That's one of those trucks that has these stakes on the side, and it was an old, like, I don't know, 30s truck, 40s truck maybe. And we used to ride that truck on the back of the truck and standing up, and that was no big deal back then. But now, I don't think you can do that anymore. And I'm sure that you, I'm relatively sure that you can't even ride on the back, even if you weren't standing. Like, you can't ride in the back and sit in the back, I would imagine, with all the laws that they have nowadays. But that's crazy. I just can't. I can't even imagine that guy riding on the hood. We've seen this happen so many times, though. I would say within the past, I don't know, probably year, maybe. We've seen a ton of reasons, or a ton of times that these people end up on the front of the car, and geez, they're all crazy. I think I'd just let the guy go before I'd take it up with insurance. I'd take the guy's freaking plate number down and report him before I'd want to ride the hood. That's crazy. And with all the cameras out there nowadays, you would think that somebody would have got a good shot of it from a camera. So, all right, next. Speaking of road rage, this road raging driver gets what he deserves. This I found this on I don't know if it's clear enough what we're going to see, but basically there's this guy in this pickup, and he was angry at one of the drivers on the road, so he decided he was going to make the guy pay. So hopefully you can see this. Let's see here. All right, now. All right, the truck's coming up there, and he's coming up, and he's trying to cut off somebody, except that he kind of runs out of control and crashes his truck. Oh, man. People today. The road rage is another thing that I get mad at people, but the most I'm going to do is just swear at the person. There's just no way. You can't trust. You don't know who has a gun nowadays either. There's no way I'm going to ever, get mad at somebody and think I'm going to get anything out of it. I'm not. I mean, my goal is to stay alive, and I don't understand. I just don't understand. But it says here this nugget of idiocy happened on a stretch of I-25 in Denver. The video was recorded. I can't believe it at first. What's this fool going to do? Next thing I know, he's sliding across the highway in front of everybody. You could see him just momentarily rock back and forth in his seat. I just hope he was okay. It was not clear what the fool on the green F-50 attempted to hit the SUV, but I'm pretty sure whatever it wasn't worth him losing his truck. Not to mention the fact that, chances are the cops probably came and tried to figure out what was wrong, and if they look at the cameras, like I said, there's cameras everywhere nowadays. You can't get away with anything. So, just funny. I think that with the cameras, there is that karma that you are going to get caught doing something. So, in Louisiana, there were 5 people dead in 2 separate shootings.
A manhunt is underway in Louisiana after police say that 5 people were killed Saturday in 2 separate but connected shootings. The shooting spree happened about an hour west of New Orleans. A married couple are among the victims. Police have identified their 21-year-old son, Dakota Terrio, as a suspect. Investigators are also looking into whether he had a romantic relationship with one of the other victims. Terrio remains on the run. Police say that he should be considered armed and dangerous, and anyone who spots him should avoid making contact.
Yeah, he was already caught. Old news. So, I didn't realize that was the same story. Yeah, that guy was the one that killed everybody and their cousins. That guy, see, that kind of guy should be just put to death. Because there's nothing good coming out of him. And why should we pay for him for the rest of our lives? I think he should just, we should just kill him and be done with it. Because he obviously killed those people, and there's just no reason to keep him around. I don't know. Here we go. How about this one, though? 3 men sentenced in plot to... okay, good. Okay, so I didn't lose this one. I was afraid this was going to plot to bomb Somali immigrants in Kansas. Some people, I don't understand it. I mean, this is supposed to be the country where people can come when they need to get away from their own country. And there's people that just believe this country is based on people coming here to get away from the evils of their country. And there's people in this country that believe that we don't want any more people. Well, those people are the people that are the most dangerous. 3 men were convicted of plotting to blow up a Kansas apartment where Somali refugees have lived, and they're sentenced for at least 25 years in prison. The defendants, in this case, acted on clear premeditation and attempted to kill innocent people on the basis of their religion and national origin. It's not illegal, it's morally repugnant. Not just illegal. During the trial last year in Wichita, Kansas, prosecutors portrayed the men as aspiring domestic terrorists who were preparing to bomb an apartment complex in Garden City, Kansas, which is the home of a makeshift mosque and community of Somali immigrants. The men who called themselves the Crusaders were arrested about 4 weeks before November 9th, 2016, the date they picked for the bombing. Prosecutors said the men had also considered attacks on other targets, including elected officials and churches that helped the refugees in secretly recorded conversations. The men could be heard making demeaning comments about Muslims. One of them called them cockroaches. On Friday, Curtis Allen, 51, was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Gavin Wright, 53, was sentenced to 26 years. And Patrick Stein, 49, was sentenced to 30 years. Geez, they're all in the 50s. Boy, that's pretty rough. In April, the men were convicted of conspiring to use a weapon of mass destruction and conspiracy against rights, which the Justice Department considers a hate crime. Mr. Wright is also convicted of lying to the FBI. So I guess Curtis Allen, Gavin Wright, and Patrick Stein. Okay, so said, where's that? That Mr. Wright, that would be the second guy. This guy here was convicted of lying to the FBI. The defendants planned to ruthlessly bomb an apartment complex and kill innocent people simply because of who they are and how they worship. That's really sad. Just, if you don't believe somebody else's religion, you just stay away. You just don't go after them for the religion. Hi, Jamie Kaiser. Good to see you. Although I can't see you. And then lastly, in the shootings, there were 5 police officers wounded in the southeast Houston. And as soon as I get this one to come up. Oh, is that it? Oh, that is it. All right, let's try that again. I didn't think it was out. Okay, 5 officers. Eventually. Come on, you can do it. Really, you can. All right. Why is this not coming up? All right. All right, let's do this. Get rid of this. Now we got it. Okay, here we go. It says 2 officers critically wounded in Houston shooting, and the 2 suspects are dead. So, let's see if we can get this working here.
Oh my gosh, this makes me sick.
You know, is Devin's Worry Monster? I look forward to this reunion.
I hate this. Commercials, they snuck in on me. It says officers were serving a narcotics warrant when they were fired upon. 4 were wounded by gunfire. 1 was injured in his knee. None are dead.
A gun battle that left 5 officers injured, including 4 who were shot. Suspects opened fire yesterday when police tried to serve a drug-related warrant. Police shot and killed 2 suspects. Mireya Vidial is at Memorial Hermann Texas Medical Center in Houston, where 2 of the officers are in critical condition this morning. Mireya, good morning.
Well, good morning. About a dozen officers or so were attempting to serve a narcotics search warrant, working off a tip from a neighbor. The suspects were allegedly selling black tar heroin out of that home, and when they immediately approached, they were immediately met by gunfire.
We have multiple officers shot. Multiple officers shot. We have multiple enemies.
A barrage of gunfire erupted around 5 p.m.
We got officers down.
when undercover narcotics officers attempted a raid on a southeast Houston home.
You never know what's going to come out of those raids, unfortunately. And this looked like it didn't pan out to what they were expecting and all that. And I mean, at least they ended up getting the guys, but boy, what a price to pay. At least I think at least all the officers, I believe all the officers survived. So that's a good thing about it. But oh man, that's just that's pretty rough.
Immediately upon breaching the door, the officers came under fire from 1 or 2 suspects inside the house.
Police say the suspects were armed with semi-automatic weapons.
And then it stopped, and then again. There was a total maybe about 15 shots, I believe.
Cell phone video captured 2 officers running from the home.
There goes one SWAT. He shot in the arm.
Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo says one of the officers had been shot in the line of duty before.
He was there in the front line, so that doesn't tell you about the heart of the men and women we have the privilege to.
That's really weird. That poor guy got shot in the line of duty twice, and still keeps going out. What is in the mind of someone that has that mindset and gets shot while in the line of duty, and yet he goes back and does it again? Man, I'll tell you what, that's a special person there.
Lead, I don't know what will.
According to the FBI, the number of law enforcement deaths by weapons has increased and could climb. 43 officers were killed in the line of duty in 2017 compared to 53 last year.
Wow.
In the last 5 years, 804 on-duty officers have been killed. President of the Houston Police Officers Union, Joe Gamaldi.
We are sick and tired of having targets on our back. We are sick and tired of having dirtbags trying to take our lives when all we're trying to do is protect this community and protect our families. Enough is enough.
All morning long, we have seen police officers come into the hospital and show their support. This morning, 2 officers that were shot in the neck, they were in surgery. They are out this morning, but in critical condition. 1 was shot in the shoulder. He has been released, and 2 more are in stable condition and recovery here. John?
Mireya, thank you. May that recovery be speedy.
That's unbelievable. Those guys really, they deserve our undying devotion, the way they devote their lives to us. That's just crazy. All right. Then I got, how are we going to do this? We only got half an hour, so I want to pick good ones here. Alaskan son and father are sentenced for killing a bear and her shrieking cubs. What kind of man kills little baby bears like that? This file says here an Alaskan father and his son were caught on camera killing a black bear and her 2 cubs, and has been sentenced to jail, fines, and hunting suspensions. Well, geez, I think they should not only suspend them, let's just say they can't hunt anymore. I mean, I don't know how long their jail sentence is, but that's just, I don't know. I have a hard time killing a freaking mouse. I got a mouse on a glue trap the other day, and I felt so guilty because he was stuck on the glue trap. But anyway, Andrew Renner, who's 41, will spend 3 months in jail and pay $9,000 in fines. Forfeit his boat, truck, firearms, and poaching gear, and lose his hunting privileges for 10 years. Oh boy, he'll be 51 when he can kill another one. His son, his 18-year-old son, Owen, was sentenced to probation and community services and will be required to take hunter's safety course, according to the statement. Well, his hunting license has also been suspended for 2 years. Well, I don't even think he should get it back. The Renners were out skiing on April 14th when they approached the bear's den. Owen Renner fired twice at the adult bear while it slept. The bear wasn't even coming after him. He was sleeping. Andrew killed the shrieking cubs, leaving the bodies outside the den, the troopers said. The Renners butchered the adult bear and returned 2 days later to dispose of the cubs' bodies and collect shell casings. What the two men didn't know was that their actions were caught on tape. The bears were apparently had a security system. Now, the bears were being monitored by a motion-activated camera as part of a study by the U.S. Forest and Alaska Department of Fish and Game. Court documents said Andrew Renner is captured on video saying, "It doesn't matter, bear down." The men were also removed the bear's tracking collar, and they'll never be able to link it to us. Want to bet? 2 weeks later, Andrew Renner took the bear's skin and collar to the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. Said he hadn't seen the cubs and didn't know it was a nursing bear. In Alaska, it's illegal to shoot black bears with cubs. Both men will have to pay $1,800 restitution, the amount set for statute for killing black bears. It should be a lot higher than that. That's a shame. These people were, out there just killing for fun. The defendant and anyone else that would pursue the game in our state should be on notice that killing a sow with cubs and then poaching the cubs to cover it up will result in a significant jail time. That's not significant enough. And the son got away with it, really. He got community service. That's ridiculous. I don't know. I just think that they were too light on the son. I mean, the father, okay, 10 years, that sounds maybe a bit stiff, but the fact that he can hunt once he gets out of jail is probably not right, but what the heck. And the thing that sucks is that the bears, they're dead, and there's no way to replace those bears. So, Kentucky deputy was injured when a large rock crashed through their windshield. Didn't we just have a situation where kids were arrested for doing this not too long ago? Seems to me we did, but I can't remember exactly if that was this. Kids were throwing something over the. What was it? I think it was this type of stuff. But anyway, a deputy in Kentucky was responding to reports of someone throwing rocks at semi-trucks on the road, and he was injured in a rollover crash Sunday when a large rock smashed through his windshield. Why would I don't understand why kids think that's okay. All right, here we go. Here's the video.
It was just before 5 a.m. when Deputy Philip Dean was dispatched to Lexington Road after police received reports that someone was throwing rocks at semi-trucks. Dean was driving east, police say, when he encountered a dark-colored car coming his way.
His initial reaction was he thought he got shot because his windshield just exploded and he didn't know what happened.
A large rock thrown through the windshield struck Dean in the face. He lost control of his cruiser and swerved off the road. The car flipped over several times. A neighbor said the crash sounded like thunder.
And I walked down here, and I said, my God, how did he do this?
Remarkably, Dean was able to get himself out of the car and call for help. He suffered some broken bones and is expected to be okay.
That's a tough
But
cop.
the emotional impact cannot be overstated, and the incident sends chills down the spines of every first responder in the county.
Frightening, very frightening, and it's something kind of you always have in the back of your mind.
Covering the news in Boyle County, Mike Valenti.
That's crazy.
KLAX 18 News.
That is crazy. Jeez. That's a shame that there has to be idiots out there doing that kind of stuff. I don't understand. Those kids, I hope they catch them. I hope they catch them. That's all I got to say. Because that's, I mean, you can kill somebody that way and probably get away with it if they, I mean, I'm sure that they don't, how would you figure out, you can't really get fingerprints off of a rock, I would imagine. So it's kind of weird to think about somebody having to worry about their lives over. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember my brother used to want to throw eggs at cars. And I remember I was terrified to do that. And I would throw it the opposite direction, just so I didn't have it in my hand. And it was nuts. Crazy. But that was eggs. Hillary Clinton says she's still considering a 2020 presidential run. Man, I would not. If I were her, I just can't imagine running again, because then it's going to be just an ugly thing again. I mean, I guess she's the only thing that they got. I don't know. That was an ugly campaign, and it would be getting ugly again. But I don't know. I don't know who else would run, because nobody else is. I mean, there's a couple people that have talked about running. Clinton is telling people that she's not closing the doors to the idea of running in 2020. I've only told 3 people that as recently as this week she was telling people that, look, given this news from the indictments, particularly the Roger Stone indictment, she talked to several people. Look, I'm not closing the doors to this. It doesn't mean there's a campaign in waiting or a plan in the works. She has said it would surprise me greatly if she actually did it. Yeah, I would imagine that would be a shock to a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of Hillary supporters that are. Who knows? She may get in there this time. For all I know, she would. she's got a lot of support from people that are avid Hillary supporters. But boy, I'm telling you, I just don't know. Okay, here's another one. This is another off-the-wall thing. Student dies, another one critically injured as bus collides with train. I still don't know how this could happen, because you can see a train coming. But apparently, they didn't. And the train is not going to stop. The way the train stops is you got to have a lot of room between, because the brakes don't stop like a car or anything like that. And the weight of the train keeps that thing moving. So it's like running in front of a bullet and expecting to live. 13-year-old middle school student is dead after a train plowed into a bus at a crossing with no warning lights or gates. Still, you would have to think that, aren't buses supposed to stop and look and all that stuff, even if there isn't a train coming? The accident happened at 4 p.m. in Athens and 70 miles southeast of Dallas as the bus driver was taking students home from school. There were 3 people in the bus at the time, and the driver and two students. It's unclear what caused the bus and train to collide, but authorities are interviewing the bus driver, who was found outside the bus as first responders arrived at the scene, and 3 minutes after the call, a boy 13 was found dead outside the bus, which had been pushed a quarter of a mile down the tracks by Union Pacific train. A 9-year-old girl was extricated from the bus and flown to Dallas Children's Hospital. I've been in this profession 21 years, and this is by far the worst of those years. So, according to the superintendent. you know, I just, again, can't imagine. I mean, even if there's no gate, I thought you were supposed to stop and look both ways before putting a bus across a train track. I don't know. I might be wrong. Truck driver will no longer have to be a truck driver. This is for you, Jamie. Truck driver from Brooklyn wins $298 million Powerball jackpot. So, yeah, that's truck driver claimed the second largest Powerball in New York lottery history, which is worth almost $300 million. Man, if I won that money, there's no way in the world I would even consider working. I would consider traveling all over the world. I would consider giving to charities. I would do all kinds of stuff. But working is not one of them. It would all be fun and games. And if you have to work, one thing you would maybe do is start a charity of your own or do some charity work. But I don't know. I just can't imagine just winning that kind of money to begin with. But
about 1 in 292 million. You're more likely to be struck by lightning or have conjoined twins. Yet people keep playing because dreaming about winning millions of dollars is more fun than dreaming about being attacked by a shark. Americans spend more than $70 billion on lottery tickets each year. Between 60 and 70% of that is spent on instant scratch tickets. The rest is spent on the big games, Powerball and Mega Millions. Powerball players pick 5 numbers between 1 and 69 and 1 number between 1 and 26, the red Powerball number. To win the jackpot, you must match all 6 numbers. Your odds of winning never change, despite how many people play. The only thing that changes is how much you can win. The jackpot total posted on billboards is just an estimate. A percentage of every ticket sold goes into a pool. That money is split evenly if there are multiple winners. Lottery winners are offered 2 options, a cash payout or an annuity jackpot. If a winner chooses the cash payout, the state lottery gives him or her the entire amount. State and federal income taxes are taken out immediately. If a winner picks the annuity jackpot, the state lottery invests the cash in various government securities. The winner is then given 30 payments over 29 years, plus any interest earned. The money is treated like income on the winner's tax form each year.
so for those of you that wondered how you could get, like, it'll be $398 million, or let's say $300 million. If you take it immediately, you get, you might get $140 million if you get a cash payout. But if you stay in the game and decide to take the 30 payments, you'll get $300 million. The reason being the $300 million is that you then can they invest that money and they give you the $300 million off the investment. So if you take the earlier amount, the $140 million or whatever it turns out to be, that's why it's so much significantly less. Is that there is the amount that the 30 million or the 300 million is for the 30 years. So that's why it makes a sense to. You have to sit down and you have to think, am I going to live 30 years? Am I going to, because you never know. You could die tomorrow and your family doesn't get that money. So that's why you got to make a decision as to whether or not that is what you want to do or not, because, if you take the full sum, you get it all right away, 130 or 140 million or whatever it is. If you want the 300 million, you better be healthy because you're not going to get that. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I would never consider getting the smaller or the bigger amount because I don't really know what's going to happen in the next couple of years. So you don't really want to kind of put your risk at the income being different. So, all right, where are we going to go on this? Okay, here we go. This is a good one. The first Democrat to announce his run is out there. Richard Ojeda is the first Democrat to announce his 2020 run. He becomes the first Democrat to drop out of the race as well. So it didn't last long. He just he was the first to do both of those. I think that's kind of funny. Let's see if we got this. I gotta see if it's gonna be a commercial. Let's see. Okay. Why don't we have sound? We should have sound.
Carry that state with 5 electoral votes. Trump gets another state, West Virginia. We have a key race alert right now.
Well, I didn't understand why that was. That wasn't what it was supposed to be. All right. Anyway, it says here, Richard Ojeda was the first Democrat to throw his hat into the ring for the 2020 presidential election after the midterm elections in November. But now, just 1 month into 2019, Ojeda has announced he is dropping out of the race. When I was a kid in grade school, my teachers were always said that anyone could grow up and become president. Ojeda said in a video clip provided by The Intercept on Friday, "Unfortunately, I'm starting to realize it is unless you have wealth, influence, and power, it's not going to happen." Well, duh. Who in their right mind would have thought they could have done it just being a poor person? The amount of money needed to run a campaign is tremendous. You can't imagine. Apparently, I wouldn't have voted for you because you weren't smart enough to know that. But if you're not a multimillionaire or a billionaire, in the case of Trump, don't waste your time. Don't waste our time. You should. I mean, that's like me going and saying I'm going to run and then trying to figure out how I was going to pay for it, because the funds come in, but boy, oh boy, there's a lot of money involved in doing this for real. So that's just bizarre. That's funny though. So, oh, what's this? And here they want to keep. Oh, wow, this. Okay, let's listen to this. I never saw this one. Here we go. This is another guy who said he was going to run.
Today at war, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably wondering how I'm going to manage my presidential campaign on the vote. How are you doing, Jeff?
Now wait a minute. We are today. Hold on here.
At war.
John McAfee. He's the guy that made McAfee. He's the guy that made McAfee antivirus. The exiled antivirus pioneer is running for president.
I'm going to manage my presidential campaign on the vote. How are you doing, Jeff?
And is charged for the government after being charged with an IRS crimes. I think we should let him. We should pretend that it's okay that he runs, and then when he comes into the country, we just arrest him and throw him in jail.
They want to silence me. I will not allow that. I am running my campaign in exile on this boat.
That's funny. That's nuts. John McAfee made his fortune selling groundbreaking software. So if you have McAfee antivirus, that's who the guy is. I don't think he's in it anymore. I'm pretty sure he either quit McAfee or was kicked out of McAfee, and I'm pretty sure that's the case.
I have not paid taxes for 8 years. I've made no secret of it. I have not filed returns. Every year I tell the IRS I'm not filing a return. I have no intention of doing so. Come and find me.
That's funny. He announced his long shot 2020 bid. You know, he could. You never. I hope he makes it. I hope he runs as a Democrat. That's nuts. Oh, he announced it last year. He's been campaigning on a friend's yacht since January 22nd. So a whole week. That's nuts. That's just nuts. I guess it takes all kinds. That's nuts. Here we go. I don't want to do that one. This is a weird one. This is an 88-year-old woman. She dies after a car rolls over in front of her garage. Now, didn't that happen to the guy that plays Sulu? I think it was Sulu from Star Trek. That happened. Brooklyn woman died Saturday after a car rolled over her in front of a garage. Alba Meza, 88, got out of her car. It's a Hyundai Kona, and outside her garage at an apartment building on 96th Street of Bay Ridge. She got out of her car to open the garage door. So here's a picture of the garage door. After the car was open, the car rolled down the slope towards the garage and ran over her. That's a freaking 88-year-old woman. She was announced dead at the NYU Langone Hospital, Brooklyn. Meza was a lifetime owner, lifetime New Yorker, was a musician, vocal coach, and elementary school teacher. She taught music and she loved it. She was so active, I can't believe it. All of a sudden I hear this. Well, I guess if you can't kill her by disease, you're going to kill her by her car. I just never would have imagined the car taking her out. That's crazy. You can't even trust your car nowadays. It's because she didn't have an electric car. Because you can trust your electric car. So, what a weird thing. All right, next. Coming down here to the end. So, a man finds an authentic WW2 hand grenade at a Taco Bell. So, let's see what this is all about.
Authentic World War II hand grenade. The man told police officers he found the grenade while magnet fishing. After making the discovery, he put the grenade into his trunk and drove to Taco Bell. The bomb squad was eventually called out and safely disposed of the explosive.
That's crazy. I mean, I guess you don't know. You never really know if it's if it's real or if it's active or whatever. So I don't know what I would do. I mean, I guess if I found it, there's people that pay a lot of money for one of those, but I don't know if I could actually take it anywhere. I'd be scared to try to touch it. So as much as it's probably worth, I don't think I'd take it. I don't think I'd have the nerve to take that with me. So that's crazy. Next. Now, I guess we all get mail of some sort, although a lot less nowadays than we used to. The Forever stamp has just raised to 55 cents per stamp. It's the biggest increase in U.S. Postal Service history. I don't even think I have sent a stamped envelope in a long
Up
time.
on those Forever stamps before the big price hike. You're happy about that because the cost of a Forever stamp, a first-class one, jumped from 50 to 55 cents on Sunday. That's the biggest increase ever. Priority mail is also up about 6%. So that means the small flat rate box that used to cost $7.20 to send is now going to cost, well, almost $8. The Postal Service reported a $4 billion loss last year because of higher labor and transportation costs.
I would imagine that
at least 3 people have been killed, more than another.
I would imagine that nowadays they don't make. I mean, most packages are delivered U.S. mail. I'm sorry, U.S. Are delivered FedEx and UPS. I would imagine, but with the new deal that they have with Amazon, I would imagine that they are going to turn that around a little bit. There's no reason they can't make money. We grew up with U.S. Mail, and I can't imagine them not continuing service. They've got to have the capabilities, whatever it takes to continue service, because the U.S. Mail was one of the foundations of this country, and it's hard to believe that they're hurting for money, but they must be, because we're seeing this stuff all the time. They're never really making money anymore. So, all right, this will be the last one. This is a good one. A well-written story, or I wish Trish were here. This is hers. This is for her. A well-written letter could win you a $1.7 million mansion. How would you like to win your own mansion? I think it'd be awfully cool. So, here we go. Let's find out.
Have you always...
Oh, what happened? Well, that looks like a commercial. $25 entry fee, or $18.73, and a well-penned letter could win you a home. Contest started January 5th.
Mansion in Canada, but simply lack the $1 million necessary to purchase the home? Well, you could be in luck if you have $25 and can write a 350-word essay. Alma Wagner lives in a $1.6 million home on a lake in Millerville, Alberta, Canada. But because of health reasons, needs to downsize. The home wasn't moving on the market, and so she was inspired by the 1996 film Spitfire Grill, where the owner of a restaurant falls ill and then has an essay contest to decide who will get his business. Wagner is doing the same thing with her house. She told CBC News that she has decided to give the home to the person whose essay moves her. She even gave an idea of what she is looking for. Quote, "It has to just really touch on my heartstrings, and not necessarily because of a sad story, but because of the motivation. All of the information is on her Facebook page, Write a Letter, Win a House." Essays and entry fees are due on April 5th, 2019, and she must receive the minimum number of 60,000 entries to choose a winner. Otherwise, all entry fees will be refunded. I think this sounds totally worth the $25. Just think of all the Facebook posts you've written for free without the possibility of a house.
That's amazing, though. I just can't even think what I would do to get that. I mean, I would like to participate just because it sounds fun. I don't think I'd want to move to Canada, but I don't know. For a $1.7 million house, I would consider that. It would kind of be fun. And that's a pretty nice house by the looks of things. So it may be a possibility. We could move Trash Talking Radio up there and have a new house to put our studio in. Of course, then I'd have to get rid of Trish because she doesn't live up there. But, she doesn't show up for work anyway. I mean, if she showed up for work, she'd be here right now. Anyway, all right. I guess this is it. This is the end. So, hope you had a good time, enjoyed the show, and I am looking forward to next week's show. But until then, we will talk to you later on, and remember, the most important part to this is hold on here, I thought I was ready. Most important part is... We're still the one.